happy Monday. I am here in the garden to talk about late season tomatoes for here in zone 4. Some things to think about with your tomatoes. First and foremost, as I walked over here, I noticed this completely defoliated branch, and I knew exactly what the culprit was. And this is the dreaded tomato hornworm. It's a very large one. There's my finger for comparison. It's my index finger. And there's its horn. Great way to tell if you have tomato hornworms is as you are suckering or looking for ripe tomatoes, you might come upon the tomato hornworm poop. These round pellets, little ridges. If you see that, look around for the hornworm, because it'll be there. There aren't many things in the garden that make me squeamish, of picking off tomato hornworms is one, and I absolutely have to do it with gloves on. Here's my brave husband. Oh, look at how sticky its feet are. There's its chewing face. Thanks, Jason. All right, so going back to raising tomatoes in a cooler climate with a shorter growing season, I am here with this is a Sun Gold cherry tomato plant. This here is all one plant, and the fruit is just starting to ripen. You see it down there? Nice orange tomatoes. And then if you go trail up the plant, it's just growing tall and putting on more fruit and more fruit. And I want to be sure that all of the flowers have enough time to set and make fruit. And if I indicate to the plant that I want to put its energy towards making more fruit, I can do that by topping it. And topping plants is not something that I'm very much an advocate for. And tomatoes in a cooler climate with a late start for the growing season, this is a really good thing to do. So I am going to look for the last place that fruit is starting to set now. So I see here, there's this branch of fruit setting. And so I follow this branch up and I see that it connects to this one here. So I want to look for a good place that I can stop this tomato. And I want to leave some leaves above where the fruit is to prevent sun scald. That means having the plant basically get sunburned. So I'm going to leave this branch here, and then right above it, I'm going to make a cut. And I cut at about a 45-degree angle facing down. And that way water, when it rains or any moisture or condensation, will drip off the plant and not sit in place and allow it to rot. After I trim back my tomato plants, topping them, I am going to put these clippings into the garbage or toss into the woods. They're not going to go into my compost pile that can come back into the garden. Even though these clippings look disease-free, tomatoes carry so many soil-borne diseases that just better to be safe, I am not going to add these to my compost that will return to the garden. You can feed them to the chickens if you have them, put them in the garbage, chuck them in the woods, just don't put them in your compost pile that you're going to then use back in your garden. Here, going back to my number one rule of thumb of no bad leaves, I want to get this leaf out of here and away from my plant and away from the garden. To me, this looks like a kind of tomato blight. And it's a pretty thick one, so I want to cut off the problemed leaf, and I'm going to cut it right up by the stem of the plant. And then I'm going to absolutely be sure that this is removed from the garden to never come back again. And also, when I'm finished with this one plant, I am going to take an alcohol wipe or some kind of disinfectant to wipe off my snippers, because cutting off those diseased leaves and then going to do a cut on another plant, I can introduce that disease. So from every time you go from one plant to a new plant, you want to wipe down your snippers, whether it's with some kind of disinfectant spray and a little washcloth, or if you're using alcohol wipes, whatever you use, just wipe down between plants.